First of all, hello. I want to welcome Master Steve. He's the one who's going to actually come to Jordan this January, on the 10th and 11th of January. And he's a Reiki Grandmaster. And we are so excited to host you, Steve, in our center, Thea Psychology, as wait a moment, but there's something went. Yeah, as we're going to have this 2 days workshop, an amazing workshop with you. Okay, that you're going to give the for the first time in Jordan. Wait a moment, Steve. Sorry, but there is something went wrong in my. Yeah. Okay, for the first time, the Reiki Jin Kei Do, level 1. So, hello, Steve.
Hi.
Yes, hello. Can you please tell us about yourself first, and what do you do? What do you give, and what are you willing to give us in Jordan on January?
Okay, lovely to be here, and good to meet you. Yeah, first of all, before I get into talking about the class, one thing that I want to correct, as I noticed in your introduction about me there, I want to throw away this title, Reiki Grandmaster.
Okay.
I'm not a Reiki Grandmaster. I've never met such a thing. There's no such thing as a Reiki Grandmaster. So let me talk a little bit about what I do and my background in in Reiki. I came to Reiki 23 years ago, back in 1996, and I had at that time an intention to develop my abilities in a range of different alternative therapies, and Reiki was going to be my starting point. And actually, having taken that first level class, and then my second level class, and then the master's training, I realized that actually I didn't need anything else. Reiki was enough. And I stopped to that point. So I've been actually focused fully into the practice of Reiki, teaching Reiki, practicing Reiki for the last 23 years now. I wrote a book on this particular lineage of Reiki in 2005. That came out the following year in October 2006. That was the very first book in the world on this particular lineage, and it is still the only book in the English language on this particular lineage. There's another book now in French, so if you can read French, there is another one. But my book is still the standard reference work for this particular lineage all over the world. And there is a very big difference between what we teach and what you'll find in other traditions of Reiki. Now, the world of Reiki at the moment is in a state of turmoil to some degree, because there is a lot of research going on in Japan. Traditional forms of Reiki that are being unearthed in Japan. They're starting to get known about in the wider world. So people are starting to access some of the original methods of Reiki that were being practiced in Japan way before it arrived in the rest of the world. And then, of course, there is the rest of the world's Reiki, the Reiki that has been outside of Japan. Well, it's not traditional. A lot of it is nothing close to traditional, unfortunately. What is in Japan is traditional. What everybody else has is not very traditional.
Yes, far away. Yeah.
And some of it is extremely far away from traditional Reiki. However, within this tradition of Reiki, it sort of spans, in a sense, those two groups, the traditional Japanese practices plus and the more widely known Western approaches to Reiki. Because in this tradition, we have, well, before I say this, if we look at the history of Reiki, Reiki is not that old a system. It's only about 100 years old. There's nothing ancient about it. It's a fairly modern system, really. But that system of Reiki was based on ancient methods. Nobody really knows what those ancient methods are. People speculate, they guess, they assume things, but they don't know for certain. Within this tradition of Reiki, we have and have always taught the original methods that Reiki, modern secular Reiki, was developed from. Those teachings are only available in this tradition. No one outside of this tradition has access to them. They're not teaching them. Nobody knows anything about them. And these are the original ancient methods that modern secular Reiki was first developed from. Both the traditional Japanese approaches that are coming out of Japan now and the more widely known Western approaches that we've had outside of Japan for quite some years. Both of those sort of schools or approaches to Reiki owe their origins to these ancient teachings.
Yes.
So those teachings we teach as advanced training to people that, you know, has progressed through their secular Reiki system. But obviously those teachings also colour and influence our presentation of modern secular Reiki. So you'll find that influence, you'll find that colouring in Reiki level 1 and Reiki level 2 and in the master's level. And anybody that wants to go deeper into their experience of Reiki, wants to access the original ancient methods that Reiki came from, then we teach those alongside that. And you can access that system after Reiki level 2. So there is quite a big difference in terms of our philosophy, our orientation, the way we present the teachings. Obviously, there's a lot of common things as well. You know, hands-on healing, that's still there. It's in there in all schools of Reiki. But there are big differences as well.
What are the differences? What is the what are the things that we on the Reiki, the original teachings that going to provide the student something extra, okay? Or what is he's going to actually, if we say, enhance in their practices rather than the hands-on practices?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you know, if we look at the history of Reiki, Mikao Usui, the founder of the system, what he created was a personal spiritual development system. He did not at all create a hands-on healing method. This is not the function, the purpose, the focus of Usui's system. It never was. This is something that came later. Now, Usui did certainly instigate or begin that process of using Reiki as a hands-on healing therapy, which was then expanded by his students and, you know, people have followed. But there is this common idea that Reiki is just a hands-on healing therapy. This is the shallowest, most throwaway aspect of the system. You know, I said to somebody interviewed me a couple of weeks ago about Reiki, and I said in that interview, I said, look, if I was to throw away the hands-on healing aspect of Reiki, which I'm quite happy to do, I've still got a meaningful, profound system that serves me very well. The hands-on healing aspect is the least of this system. The bulk of this system, the way Usui originally conceived of it, was as a personal spiritual development practice. Now, that is an aspect of the system that has become more and more widely known as research has gone on in Japan. People are now acknowledging and saying, look, Usui's system is actually about meditation. It's about personal spiritual development. But they don't know what those meditations are. So having got the idea that Reiki is actually a spiritual development practice, people are then looking around and trying to figure out, well, what are the meditations that Usui used? Because they don't know, everyone is bolting onto the system their own meditations, whatever they happen to know, whether that's you know, mindfulness meditation or transcendental meditation, some other new age method maybe. but nobody is actually using the methods that Usui would have used in his original system. So we teach this system principally as a personal spiritual development practice. Now, obviously, yes, we do the hands-on healing. This is a significant part of everyone's understanding of Reiki, but this is not its function. Many of my students will come to me and they'll openly acknowledge in their first level class, look, I want to learn Reiki, but I have no interest at all in giving people Reiki treatments. I have many people like that, and I say to them, this is fine. This is not the function of the system. You are welcome in the class. Learn it for your own personal spiritual development. And actually, they get a huge amount out of the practice without ever engaging in hands-on healing. This is really limiting the system to its least, to the very smallest expression of the system is just hands-on healing. And you can't, in a sense, you can't even really call it a spiritual practice at that level, because it is so throwaway at that level. You're really missing the whole point of the system if that is where your focus is, because really at the core of the whole Reiki system is a deep engagement with meditation. I had one student maybe 6 or 8 months ago now. She sent me a WhatsApp message saying that she was really struggling with the fact that due to her personal engagement with doing a lot of self-healing, she was becoming highly sensitized to the suffering of other people, and she was really feeling it profoundly. You know, she wasn't picking stuff up from them, but she was hurting because other people were hurting, and she was feeling this on a very deep level. And I said to her, I said, how much meditation are you doing? And she said, well, I'm not really doing that much at the moment. I said, well, you need to, because there's your balance. I said, you start the meditation and you'll find that everything will come back into balance. So yeah, you'll still feel people suffering, but it won't affect you personally so much anymore. So she started to get back into the meditations that I taught her. And within a week or so, you know, she was fine. She could still feel other people's suffering quite acutely, but it wasn't impacting on her anymore. And that actually was that little WhatsApp message, which she sent in a hurry for over 5 minutes one day about 6 or 8 months ago. That one little WhatsApp message has actually become the core of my new book on Reiki. That whole book span out of that one little WhatsApp message. But that's really the difference. You know, I'm focusing very, very much on personal spiritual development. And yes, people will learn to do hands-on healing, but there isn't a need to engage with this. If people don't want to do that, they don't have to. Reiki's got a lot more to offer to those people than just hands-on healing.
Yeah. So Steve, it's about a lifestyle. It's about to connect with your inner wisdom. It's about a way of living and cleaning your demons inside you. You know. So when the system itself, it's a living, it's a lifestyle that we will embed in our psychology and our spiritual life and our actually also physical life, that we will have a better life for us and for other people, right? Is this what you're talking about? It's not just a hand-on thing that you will, you know, just practicing day after day. It's a way of changing our thoughts, to connect.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not. I guess it's not so much about changing our thoughts, but it is certainly about developing. It is a lifestyle. It's, you know, it's a lifestyle approach. It's about developing ourselves on all levels of being, really. I mean, I've come across people whose, and I'm sure you have as well, whose you know, engagement with Reiki is just hands-on healing, really not very pleasant people involved in the practice of Reiki, and that is their focus is very minimal. It's very just hands-on healing. They don't work on themselves. They do treatments on other people, And I sometimes despair at some of the people that are involved in this practice, because they're really missing out on the opportunity to develop themselves. And you can't do that just with hands-on healing. It just isn't possible. You know, you need the meditation. Meditation and hands-on healing are like flip sides of the same coin. You know, you need both together. Reiki isn't hands-on healing. Reiki is hands-on healing in combination with meditation, but it has to be the correct sort of meditations. You can't just pick up any old new age meditation and think that's sufficient. It isn't. And it really is about developing yourself as a spiritual being. You know, I say to my students, you know, on a first degree class, you know, if in a sense you could say that the objective of the energy of Reiki is to perfect you. It is pushing you in the direction of being a perfect being. It may not ever get there, but it is trying to make you the perfect expression of yourself. And there are, as we know, you know, there are lots of things that prevent us from being perfect human beings. You know, we have opinions and attitudes and cultural influences, parental influences, social influences, all sorts of circumstances of our life, certain, you know, things that are going on inside of us that prevent us from being perfect. But Reiki is constantly driving in that direction towards perfecting us. As I said, it may never get there, but that's its ultimate goal. So lots of things get thrown out as a consequence of working with Reiki, you know, which habits can change, addictions can disappear, thought processes can change, opinions can alter. People that we've met in our life that don't serve us can slowly just disappear. The Reiki will push them out. You know, so Reiki works on all levels of being, but that doesn't come about just through hands-on healing. You need the meditation. You know, one of the foundations of the entire Reiki system, and you're starting to see this more these days, but it is only a recent development due to historical research. But one of the foundations of the Reiki system is mindfulness meditation. The whole system of Reiki is built on a foundation of mindfulness. So unless you practice mindfulness, you're really not ever going to get to grips with the Reiki system. You know, good, solid, down to a basic mindfulness meditation practice is what the system of Reiki is built on. Now, some people, they question me over this. You know, where's the evidence for this? They'll say, well, you know, there is evidence that Mikao Usui, the founder of the system, actually introduced mindfulness meditation to his, early students when they were starting their training. He'd take them through mindfulness meditation training. And one of the meditations that I teach in a Reiki 1 class is called Metta Bhavana. Now, if you don't know what that means, it means Metta means loving kindness, and Bhavana means development or cultivation. So the meditation is about the development or cultivation of the quality of loving kindness. Okay. Now the Metta meditation is an integral part of every single mindfulness meditation training. You find a mindfulness teacher, they're going to teach you the Metta meditation as well. It's just deeply embedded within it. Interestingly, one of the things that is associated with symbol number 2 in the Reiki system, if you look at it historically, is this bodhisattva, a Buddhist bodhisattva called Avalokiteshvara. A bodhisattva is a person that has postponed their own enlightenment to help all other beings achieve that state before they do. So it's an act of compassion. I'm going to postpone my ability to perfect myself until I've helped all other beings achieve that state before me. So that's sort of a definition of a bodhisattva. This bodhisattva, Avalokiteshvara, embodies the quality of divine compassion and loving kindness. That's what symbol number 2 is all about, and it is directly linked to Avalokiteshvara. Well, how do you therefore develop and realize the qualities of symbol number 2? You do the metta meditation, because that symbol is about loving kindness embodied in Avalokiteshvara. And the meditation to achieve that state is called metta. So there it is, right at the beginning of the foundation of the system. Usui teaching mindfulness meditation, the metta being an integral part of that mindfulness practice, and linking directly into symbol number 2 taught at the second level. All of these qualities, all of these things interlock and come together. And this is, a presentation of Reiki, in a sense, within this lineage that does have a very deep understanding of the cross currents and influences between different aspects of the system. I mean, I'm just horrified at the shallow engagement with most people's practice of Reiki.
Yeah,
it's just put your hands on, let the energy flow, and that's it. Well, that's sort of where I've been. There's nothing wrong with that, I began. I remember that on Reiki 1. That's my saying, you put your hands on, Reiki flows, you take it off, Reiki stop, and that's a lovely sort of simple expression of Reiki, and that's something you should always keep, that sort of beginner's mind approach to Reiki. But actually Reiki does have a lot. Be committed to your practice. If you want to get as much out of your practice as you can, you've got to engage with meditation. The older Buddhist system that Reiki originally came from, which is called the Buddho system. Note that it's Buddho, not Buddha. Buddha is the historical figure. Buddho is a meditation practice that comes out of Buddhism, and this is the core. This is the core of the whole of the Reiki system. If you're familiar with the key moments in the history of Reiki that's told by everybody in everybody's Reiki class, is when Mikao Usui is sat on Mount Kurama and he has this enlightenment experience. He's up there fasting and meditating for 21 days. And on the very last day, he has this amazing enlightenment experience. This is a very well-known, well-documented part of the history of Reiki. And of course, since Reiki has been taught outside of Japan, everybody's been saying, well, this is fantastic. But what was the meditation that Usui did? Nobody knows. We know it was the Buddho meditation. We've been teaching that in this system for many years. It's called Buddho, and that meditation influences some of the practices that we teach in our secular Reiki classes as well. The Buddho meditation actually is the core, it's the center of a much bigger spiritual development practice. Interestingly, the meditations within the Buddho system link directly into the Reiki symbols. You can see the precise origin of all of the Reiki symbols that we all know from our Reiki training. You can see where they come from, what they mean, and how they work within the Buddho system. Lots of people, for instance, are taught that the Reiki symbols are derived from Sanskrit. This is nonsense. Not one of those symbols has any relationship to Sanskrit in the slightest. And, I don't know where that story first came from, but I've seen it around the Reiki community for 25 years or so. They have no relationship to this, but they do have very specific functions. And that information is not there in the Reiki community. No one knows what those symbols actually mean. Where do they get their energy from? How do they work? No one can tell you that. You ask any Reiki master, no one's going to answer that question because they simply don't know. And the reason they don't know is because that information is embedded within the Buddho system, which isn't available outside of this tradition of Reiki.
I got it. Yeah, interesting.
It's fascinating. I mean, I've been on my journey with Reiki since 1996, and Yeah, I mean, I said right at the start there, let's throw away this title, Reiki Grandmaster. Actually, you know, I'd
This
quite
is what I
happily
love
throw
in you, by the way. Yeah.
yeah,
Actually, yeah, Steve. Yeah. Yeah. And when I start with you, because, you know, most of the Reiki masters, they like to be, you know, I am the Grandmaster, I am the master, you know. And I was like, why?
I know. That all that makes, that's just face palm, you know. It just horrifies me. I mean, I would actually throw away the title Reiki Master as well. I've never met a Reiki Master other than my own Reiki Masters. Those are the only two people. I had two Reiki Masters, a married couple teaching me. Those are the only two people that I would acknowledge as Masters of Reiki. I've never met another Reiki Master apart from them. This is a title that needs throwing in the bin because it is ego-driven. Anybody that attaches that word Reiki Grandmaster, keep away from these people. These are not somebody you want to do any training with at all, because their ego is already so big, it's going to get into that class, it's going to influence what they're teaching. But I think Reiki Master as well, throw it in the bin. Reiki teacher works fine, you know.
Great. So I just do want to add anything. I just want to say before we add that we are so honored that we are hosting our practitioner Steve here at Thea Psychology on the 10th and 11th of January. He will come here and will teach us actually Reiki Jin Kei Do, the first level. And please, guys, myself, as a Reiki practitioner, I'm going to actually roll in your course, because what I believe is the missing part in every Reiki practitioner here in Jordan, at least, I don't know outside there, that we miss actually the meditation part, the connection part. All of us, we learned about the symbols, we learned about the principles of Reiki, the hand-on practices. But for me, when I read actually your, when you sent me all the biography and the information about the Reiki, I was interested in the meditation part, because my opinion, the meditation part is the most important part, because it's the gate for us to actually connect. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I mean, certainly in my personal practice of Reiki, I have a much stronger emphasis now on the meditation than I do the hands-on healing. There are plenty of days when I don't do hands-on healing, but I never miss a day for meditation. It's absolutely critical to the practice. You can't develop yourself as a Reiki practitioner unless you're doing, you know, the correct meditations as well. One thing that I would add to what you were saying just then, in terms of anyone wanting to come and do the training, you know, it is important to realize that I understand that some people maybe have done Reiki 1 or Reiki 2 or even Reiki 3 in the past. They still need to start at Reiki 1 in this tradition. I can't, for instance, take somebody who's done Reiki 1 elsewhere and take them into Reiki 2. They still need to start at Reiki 1. I'll tell you, it's about the purity of the energy transmission. Now, just to give you a very short story about the history of Reiki. 1,000 years ago, there was a guy called Padmasambhava. Okay, Padmasambhava was the Tantric Buddha. He was responsible for really establishing Buddhism as the national religion in Tibet. Okay, so there's just keep that in mind, and that little story. Now I taught so all of Tibetan Tantric Buddha. Now about 20 years ago, I taught a Zen monk Reiki, and I got to be quite good friends with him. And one day I went to see him, and as I turned the corner coming up to his house, as I got to the door, he was already stood there. He was standing there with a smile on his face and holding a cup of tea in his hand for me. And I said, how did you know I was coming? He said, I could feel the energy of Padmasambhava walking up the street 20 minutes ago. That's the purity of the energy transmission in this lineage. Unbroken, pure transmission going back 1,000 years to Padmasambhava. So it is important to maintain that energy transmission. So I don't take people from other traditions of training into a higher level with me. They need to start at the bottom. They have to have the energy transmissions in this lineage at level 1, and they build up, progressively at that point. But I understand, people have done their level 1 somewhere else. They want to go on to level 2, and I wish I could help them, but I can't. I have to maintain the integrity of that energy transmission in this tradition.
Yeah, and one more question before we end everything. How long it will take before people to transform from Reiki, to upgrade from Reiki 1 to Reiki 2 to the master level, or as you say, the Reiki 3 level? Okay.
Yeah.
How long people they have to take their own is it something, it's a calling for example, me, I took Reiki 1, for example. I need to call you if I'm ready, or there is a certain days, a number of days or months or years. How do we know that we are going to?
So you start in at Reiki 1. Reiki 1 is the 2-day class. Okay. Now, normally, it's usually about 2 to 3 months before a Reiki 2. Okay. That's to give time for people to get used to Reiki 1, get that deeply embedded, and then they can move on to Reiki 2. 2 to 3 months. However, if somebody has taken good quality Reiki training elsewhere at level 1, okay, so all I would be doing in my Reiki 1 is retraining them, not giving it to them for the first time. It's just retraining. They can then take Reiki 2 as soon as they want after that level 1. Okay. Level 2 to 3 is the same thing. If you've had level 1 and 2 previously elsewhere, we can fast track through level 1 and 2 and then go on to level 3. But if this is your first training in Reiki, Reiki 1, 2 to 3 months, then Reiki 2. And usually it's 6 months to a year to start Reiki 3. Now, Reiki 3, I've split into 2 parts. 3A, for those who don't want to teach Reiki but want to carry on their journey, they can take the first part of the master's training. And then 3B, which is the teaching part of the master's training. So Reiki 1 is 2 days, Reiki 2 is 2 days, Reiki 3A is 2 days, Reiki 3B, it starts with 2 days, but it's going to take you a year to complete that master's training. This is not fast, quick, cheap training, It's not expensive, but it's going to take you time. I don't make instant Reiki masters, it's going to take you time to really work through everything, because, I'm the spokesman for this lineage. The lineage head, Ranga Premaratna, made me the global spokesperson for this lineage. I'm not going to allow my Reiki masters going out there to be anything less than world class. This is my bottom line. My Reiki masters are some of the best in the world, and that's my baseline, really. So I want to make sure that they know what they're doing, that they're really good at what they do. So that's the journey through Reiki. If anyone wants to access the older Buddhist system that Reiki originally developed from, you can access that after Reiki 2. Okay, then you do Buddho level 1 and Buddho level 2. Anyone who wants to be a Reiki teacher, complete the 3B, they must have Buddho level 1 and Buddho level 2. Okay, so it's quite a big journey. It's a big, big teaching, and it's so deep. It's so deep. And the new book that I'm writing now, I've shown it to my Reiki masters. I've shown it to some other senior Reiki masters in the world, and all of them, without exception, are saying this is completely revolutionary. This is going to completely change the whole world's understanding of Reiki, and that comes out of this tradition of Reiki, because that information isn't available anywhere else. So it's a very precious teaching, actually, and I'm really looking forward to coming and teaching it in Jordan. I'd love to come.
We're so excited. And Steve, we're so honored and excited. You can't imagine. I'm counting the days for you to actually come and, having this deep understanding for something very new and very unique in Jordan, because as you said, Jordan is the same as other countries. The Reiki is so commercialized. It's so not, I feel that most of the people, they're not connected. It's only, a lot of ego. They don't walk the talk, their life is miserable, and they are giving Reiki to other people. Fix your life first, and then go and help people to actually So
it is. It's about focusing on yourself.
Okay, so
I was just repeating.
There's some people, they said, we have some comments. Interesting. Nice to see you, Steve. Her name is Nadia. Okay, and another person, she's giving you hearts.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, and we have a lot of love. Yeah. Do you want to add anything before we close the live stream broadcast, Steve? Do you want to add anything? Do you want to give anyone an advice or something?
Yeah, I would. Just to finish off, I mean, if you're interested in Reiki, if you're practicing Reiki already, please do come on this class, because the depth of teaching, the depth of knowledge in this tradition is something you will not have come across anywhere else. It profoundly changes people's lives. It's not just a simple hands-on healing. This is easy. There's no big deal about this. Come and really learn what this system truly has to offer. I was sat in a coffee shop in Cairo a week ago. There was me, a Buddhist. I was sat with a Catholic priest and a very committed Muslim. And it was amazing. We had this incredible, intense, deep conversation about Reiki. It was the thing that united all three of us. And, these two of my master students, and I love them to bits. And actually, this Catholic priest, he said to me, when I taught him Reiki 1, he said that was the most profound spiritual experience he'd had since the day he was ordained as a priest. It was like a second ordination to him. And he feels that what I've taught him has, for the first time in his life, really installed God back into the practices that he practices in the church as a priest. That's the depth of these teachings. It's astonishing. And really, please do come on this class, because it will blow you away, and it really will. It does have the potential to change your life.
Thank you so much, Steve. Again,
I hope you're going to get plenty of sign-ups there for this class.
Yeah,
I hope so, because it'll be amazing.
It's very amazing. And you said that the class will take 2 days, a full day. It will be on Friday and Saturday, full day. We will spend with Steve 2 full days practicing, meditating, and actually you will inspire us with all the knowledge that you already searched through 20 years of your life. And so we're looking forward for that. Guys, if you want to sign up, we have 1 week left. Okay, so please call me, and you have my number. Call me and register for this amazing workshop, because we have limited seats only. So please let us know who's already. We have a lot of people who signed in already, but there are room for extra people. So please let us know, because this is a lifetime opportunity for you to change your life. Thank you so much, Steve. I'm looking forward to see you next week. 2 weeks.
Sure, yeah. 2 weeks, about
after 2 weeks, actually. Yeah. And Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And
I'll do my best. It's a bit grey and cold here in the UK
yeah,
today.
it's cold too here in Jordan. It's very cold here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Steve,
Okay.
and take care. Bye.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.